Hi, I'm Jacqueline Rinksmeyer, Executive Director of the Greater Medina Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for joining us today to watch our annual Candidates Forum. We do this event in partnership with Medina TV, and I'm here today with General Manager Jared Fry.
Thank you, Jacqueline. You will notice today, as Jacqueline and I do not have our mask on, and as I interview these candidates, I will not be wearing a mask, nor will the candidates. We are following all the Department of Health guidelines in regards to spatial distancing, and with being on air and doing a broadcast, masks are not required.
All candidates in local contested races were invited to participate in these interviews. This forum is designed to inform the voting public of their choices in the upcoming election.
The views and opinions stated by the candidates during the course of these interviews are not necessarily those of Medina TV and the Greater Medina Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for exercising your right to vote in the upcoming election. Enjoy the Candidates Forum.
Joining us in studio now is the incumbent Medina County Prosecutor, Forrest Thompson. Forrest, thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a very nice thing that you folks do here.
Oh, well,
we appreciate it very much.
Yeah, we're glad to get the information out to the voters. And one of the first things they want to know is tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I think that what's important to know is I'm a veteran. I served in the Air Force for a little over almost 7 years. I went to college at Edinburgh in Pennsylvania. I went to law school in Akron. Came to Medina County fresh out of law school. Literally did not know a single person in the county when I came here. Set up my practice in Wadsworth, and I've been here for 26 years now, and it is my home.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for your service. Describe a little bit about the role of the county prosecutor. What exactly goes on in the prosecutor's office?
Well, the role of the prosecutor is hugely misunderstood. There is a strong administrative component, and you have to deal with the budget. Obviously, it's the role that everyone leans toward, which is the criminal prosecution. But a lot of people forget that the county prosecutor is also legal counsel to all of the political subdivisions of the county. And that includes the county commissioners, that includes the township trustees. We have 17 townships. We advise township police departments. We advise, again, every political subdivision in the county. So the role of the prosecutor, and the prosecutor, I shouldn't say the prosecutor person, it's the prosecutor's office. Mm-hmm. It's a large umbrella, and it handles many, many diverse aspects of everyday life.
So in terms of the prosecutor's office, what do you think is the biggest issue that the office faces right now?
Well, I think the largest issue that we deal with right now is the same issue that law enforcement is dealing with, the same issue that the communities at large are dealing with. And one of the largest issues that we're constantly fighting with and tackling is the drug problem. It's an ongoing problem. And yes, opiate is down, but fentanyl has not reduced dramatically. And methamphetamines are on the rise. And so even though the drug of choice may be different, the issues are the same. Mm-hmm. And it's a problem because for many, many years, the theory was, and I talked about this 4 years ago, the traditional theory for the prosecutor's office was lock them up. Arrest them, prosecute them, and lock them up. That was a failed system. It didn't work. Individuals who are drug addicted don't benefit from incarceration unless that incarceration has a strong component of treatment. And the statistics have shown that it is far better to not incarcerate, but put them under accountability and supervision, so that they have the access to the treatment, they have access to the counseling, And the statistics have shown that it's a substantial reduction in recidivism, and a lot of people are benefited by it. At the same time, the county jails and the state prisons are not overloaded with drug addicts who aren't getting treated and are going to come back out into the community. And I think that's one of the things people have to remember. Virtually everyone who goes to jail is going to come out sometime. And when they come out, who is that person going to be? Mm-hmm. Are they going to be untreated, unmonitored, and now still addicted? Or are we going to have the opportunity to reach out to that person, provide those services? And I think that both of our common police courts do a masterful job of providing that. And at the same time, holding them accountable for their conduct, but giving them the treatment that they need. I think that's the way we can turn the tide.
So that led perfectly into one of my other questions I had. I was going to ask about the opioid addiction and other drugs, so you just touched on that. Now, what about on the other side of the thing, with the social injustice and racial injustice that goes on today? Do you see that being a problem or anything like that in the prosecutor's office?
There's the perception, and then there's the reality. Mm-hmm. I have never seen an overt example of racism in the office or out, as far as how an individual, how a defendant was treated, how legal counsel was treated, how staff was treated. So I can't say that I have seen overt examples of that. There are always the tacit examples in the community. Obviously, and I know that you're touching on, one of the issues is the defunding of police. Another issue is the accountability of law enforcement. I've spoken to Pastor Ruffin, who has been organizing a peaceful sort of outreach amongst ministers and pastors and city officials, county officials, myself included. I've spoken with him. I've attended his meetings. I've actually been interviewed on his meeting in one of his meetings, and the misconception is that there is, every single time that law enforcement interacts with someone of a different race, they want to believe, many people want to believe that there's some racial injustice. And that's simply not the case. I know law enforcement very, very well. I know them individually, and I know them as an organization. I know the chiefs. I attended a monthly chief meeting where all of the police chiefs throughout, and representatives of law enforcement throughout the entire county meet. And this is an issue that has been discussed and debated. And what they're talking about in these meetings is, how can we do better? How can we train our officers better? How can we intercede when there's a potential of issue? How can we hold people accountable? And that's one of the key factors, is accountability. Interestingly, and I think people need to remember this, most of the officers in Medina County wear body cameras. Mm-hmm. And those body cameras are preserved. And so every interaction with an individual is usually caught on some camera, some tape, somewhere. And those are preserved, they're reviewed, and when there is an issue, it's addressed immediately. Mm-hmm. So although Medina County, in my opinion, doesn't have a large racial divide issue, it's there. Mm-hmm. And we have to address it. I think we have to address all people with respect, regardless of their ethnicity, their race, their color, their religious beliefs. It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. We still have to treat them with common decency and respect. And I think, again, that's the message that has to be carried, and that's really the message that I think is the educational format for moving forward.
Mm-hmm. So we just discussed some of the societal issues that are facing the prosecutor's office. Now, if reelected, what are some personal or items that you would like to see accomplished? Maybe give me 3 different things that you would like to accomplish if reelected.
Well, first among them is I will continue, as I said 4 years ago, I was going to pursue child support, and I've done that. I've kept that promise, I would say, aggressively. By example, from January of 2017 when I took office until December of 2019, we had filed 449 indictments for failure to pay child support. Now, in the 3 years prior to that, there was a grand total, I believe, of 28 or 29 filed. And there was not, it was a philosophical difference, I believe. But of those 449 cases that we did file, almost 10% came forward and paid their arrears off in order to have that felony indictment dismissed. And that totaled something over almost $450,000. And of the individuals that have gone through this process, they went through, and quite frankly, if an indictment for child support is issued, it is a last resort, because many agencies have attempted many ways to get people to comply. And we have a very high success ratio. I believe something in the neighborhood of 60% of the individuals who have gone through the process are currently on probation and are actually paying their child support. So we will continue to do that. That's one thing that we will continue to pursue, because we have created a program that is successful, and we've created a program that now other counties are reaching out to us and asking, how are you doing this? And are trying to emulate what we're doing. Because this is a problem obviously it's a national problem, and it's a statewide problem as well. Every county deals with the same issue. So that's one. Number 2, we have cases that need to be addressed, in my opinion, that there are families still waiting for answers. One of the things that I have attempted to do so far and will continue to do is to obtain grant funding to create a cold case unit. That cold case unit is going to be working alongside with the State Attorney General's office and their initiative, with local law enforcement, and we want to facilitate that so that we can bring to justice, we can address these cases that have seemed to have just been put on a shelf. Another thing that we're doing that is quite mundane, this goes back to that administrative part that we had discussed at the opening, and that's storage. No one thinks about it, but it's always there. One of the issues that I faced and have been dealing with the office, and again, this isn't really juicy stuff, but I mean, it's reality. We have over 3,000 to 4,000 boxes of files that were effectively stored wherever there was a flat surface. Now, as you can imagine, we have a retention file system that's required, and it's important. And so how do you mesh storing boxes of files in a schoolhouse with a file retention policy? It doesn't work. One of the things that I'm initiating now and we're moving forward with is to digitalize our file storage so that we can bring everything in-house, which we have already actually done. All of our files, virtually all of our files, are under one roof now, and we are moving forward with a protocol to digitalize those files so that we can resolve into the future the file storage problem that we have. Mm-hmm. So those are 2 or 3 things that we deal with on a very regular basis, mm-hmm. That have been successful.
Now, you brought up space and storage, and one of the other issues that is big in the county right now is the courthouse project. Mm-hmm. In fact, the City of Medina residents will have a issue on the ballot regarding that. What are your thoughts regarding the courthouse project?
Well, I'm not going to try to dodge the issue, but I am going to say that because our office does represent the commissioners and there's clearly a diversity of opinions, mm-hmm. I would prefer not to comment on that issue simply because those are issues that our office is certainly going to have to deal with.
Sure, and that's fair enough. As you look at your leadership skills, your skill set, things that you bring to the table, what of those traits sets you apart from your opponent?
Well, first and foremost is team building. I mean, it's an old military term, it's an old sports term, but it's a critically important term. The office must work as a team. That requires trust going in both directions. I have seasoned individuals in every division, highly qualified, highly trained, highly practiced in every single division. I rely on their judgment. So the office is more of a directive and exercise your judgment than it is a top-down funnel, if you will, of control. Mm-hmm. So I have individuals who are in positions of authority and supervision. I trust their judgment, and I let them do their job. And I think that's key. The environment of the office is very collegiate. It is very team-oriented. And I think we have had strong positive feedback from the staff.
But in terms of being the leader of that staff, is there a certain set of skills or things that you want the voters to know that you bring to the table as a county prosecutor?
Well, I think first and foremost is the ability to diversify. I can spend the morning in the criminal aspect and the afternoon dealing with township trustees and whether or not mailboxes have a setback. So the ability to diversify, the ability to, as I said, to respect the staff and to work with them, listen to their input. And an open door policy is something that lots of people talk about, but it's not always easy to accomplish because no matter when somebody knocks on your door, they need your undivided attention. I bring that to the table as well, I believe. And I think those are some of the key points that have made a much stronger team of the office.
Great. And this is Forrest Thompson, the incumbent from Medina County Prosecutor. Thank you for answering our tough questions, but now I want to give you the moment to talk directly to the voters. So the floor is yours.
Well, thank you. I think most importantly as we move forward, there are obviously, Medina County is a changing environment. The key to success in any large office or any medium-sized office is always forward-looking. I believe that we have set that foundation to look forward into the next decade, to plan. We've updated the office. We've updated the computers. We've revised and updated the software system, the file management system. We are now able to communicate with law enforcement in real time. We're able to communicate with the defense bar in our criminal cases in real time. We have the ability to transfer data both from law enforcement to us and from us to the defense bar electronically. I think that has been an enormous benefit and time saver. It has increased the efficiency of the office. We have increased the number of indictments in Medina County from 2016 till the present date we've increased the total number of indictments on an annual basis by over 50%, or almost 50%, I should say. That's not because there's more crime. That's because the office is working more efficiently than it ever has, and we're able to do it with the same staff, that is the same staff numbers, and quite frankly, staying on time and in budget. And I think those are the things, those are the tools that I continue to use, and those are the services that we are going to continue to provide to the citizens of Medina County. Because the end goal here is accountability for those who do wrong and safety for the citizens of the county.
Great, thank you. That's Forrest Thompson, the incumbent for Medina County Prosecutor. And I normally like to end with a handshake and wish you the best of luck in November, but I'll just kind of do a virtual elbow over to you.
Yes, we'll do the long distance elbow bump. And
yes, and I wish you the best this November.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.